wet. I don't know where my camera zooms in so much. I just got home and I was researching some Glagolitic on the bus. So let's talk about some Slavic languages. You might think that when I say Slavic, that does not sound the best. However, it's a whole lot worse when you spell it. We got the back with the whiteboard again. Okay. So that's fine. Wasn't that good of a mark? I say Slavic. That's a whole lot worse spelled. Ignore this. Anyways, it's very badly spelled. However, it's Slavic. Anyways, the original Slavic language was Slavonic. It's very similar. Slavonic and Slavic. Slavonic is the Slavic language. It started out with the Glagolitic alphabet. It was a way for they just wanted a new alphabet. I think it was Saint Charles or Charlie, and then Krill. Don't get mad at me if it's pronounced Cyril. I say Krill for the Cyrillic alphabet, and they made Glagolitic together. Mainly Krill did the stuff. However, then it was for churches, for stuff like that. And they used the Glagolitic alphabet to represent the Slavonic language, which we now call Old Church Slavonic. And over time, I very early on learned that it was banned, and that's why there's a different Cyrillic alphabet, which is literally called the Cyrillic alphabet now. But the reason it's like that is because you all know how in Bibles there's always going to be like the Latin songs. There's always stuff like that. It's all Latin. But the thing is that it was meant to be in the sacred languages like Hebrew, Latin, Greek. Greek is just a very influential thing in history. Romans made Christianity a big thing, pretty much. They in a way caused it, really. And Hebrew is just the modern language of where Jesus was from. So it was those things. And it was banned for hearsay to be making Bibles with Glagolitic, which Glagolitic comes from the Slavonic word glagoli, meaning that there was a Slavonic language before they had Glagolitic. I'm not sure what the alphabet was. Probably something like Latin or something. But it was glagoli, which they made the word Glagolitic from. Glagoli means to speak. So Glagolitic is language you're speaking. Pretty much what that means. Like, you're speaking Slavonic? Yo, what do you speak? The language I speak. Huh. They banned it, and then over time, Krill made another alphabet called Cyrillic, which is a mix of Greek and the Glagolitic, because they had Slavonic languages, and then and they just replaced the letters they didn't need with new letters from Greek, which they kind of adapted. Like there's this, which I think is a very good way to have be in English, because we have this. I don't know how we got that. It's like, it's from this thing, I guess. But then we changed it to this. Did we go back? Why? So it should be like this. But instead, the Slavics got that. The Slavs took that letter. It's theirs now. They made it. Somehow, they don't have any sort of reference to do that. Greek has the lowercase b or the beta to be this. This is lowercase. Let me just do it a bit better. It's very rounded. There we go. You see the little tail. And then this. But they chose the Greek letters because that's a common thing. It's very good. And they just didn't like Latin, I guess. Too common. They wanted their own thing. So they had Greek and whatever letters the Greeks didn't have, they just adapted the Glagolitic letters to look like that. And I'm gonna show a few examples. I'm just saying this all from what I already know. So we are gonna learn some things together. What has the most letters? Okay, I should not have asked the internet. Cyrillic language. Okay, it's just Russian. So the Russian alphabet, you see, it's what we all think of when we think of Cyrillic, you know. And it took me a while to realize that these were Glagolitic letters they took from. So I'm gonna show, actually, turns out they actually have this now for B, not this. And I also didn't want to say what letter it was. I didn't remember if it was B or V. Over time, the beta became the V sound in Greek, and the delta became the F sound. That's what I heard. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure how much I believe in the F one, because I've learned that F is not, so it doesn't make much sense. But this is sh. We used to have a letter for that, but the Russians always had that. However, this, I think, is not even Glagolitic. I think they adopted it from Greek. They took the sigma, put it upside down, and then something happened. And also, the sigma itself actually comes from this letter, which is sh, which evolved into Aramaic, into Hebrew. And this kind of just makes the s sound sometimes, but can also make the sh sound. This is Phoenician. It, I'm pretty sure, was just adapted into Greek sideways, because the Greeks take a lot of things from Phoenician, and it doesn't look like any other Phoenician letter. They just kind of simplified it, I guess. They didn't really have a need for that sound. They didn't like it. So the something strange I noticed. There's this letter, which is like this, but then there's this on it. It's like that, but one. Except this, there is no this, just this, and it also used to be this. I think that is Glagolitic. I'm pretty sure. It's the ts sound. Ts. Okay, my bed frame is probably fine. It's good enough. So, I'm sorry for the delay. Oh! Yeah, some of the letters they didn't have, like I said, were taken from this part of the pants. Were taken from Glagolitic. Apparently, this is not Glagolitic. But this somehow is. It's weird. Also, another weird thing the phi they took from Greek is also glagolitic. I guess they weren't very creative with glagolitic. That's very strange. They also had this, kind of looks like a theta, which I think this is just modern day Russian. They use this chart I'm looking at for. So they put an apostrophe by the gamma, by the ge, instead of just an actual upturned ge. Upturned ge. I think it's j, but here's just ge. And this chart put an apostrophe. I think it's more modern day Russian they use this for, which is not very good because it's I don't know what, because Slavic language used to have this letter, which can also be this. It makes the it made those sounds, but then they don't have it anymore. They already had a V, they already had an F, and TH wasn't needed as much. Nowadays they don't need it, so I think this was glagolitic for also based off Greek, like the phi likely was. But yeah, so the letters that, because like imagine this, the letters that are in Russian that look Latin, they pretty much were a whole new thing. However, based on the epsilon, it's eh. I think it's flipped the other way. I think extended tail is euro. Well, it's glagolitic. These are actually very shocking, to be honest. And something I really like is the fact that this kind of looks like a P for a lamppost. It is that. And it's pretty much just a P. Well, it's pi. Anyways. This thing, it's not a dick. This is a D. And it kind of does remind me of this. However, this is L, which is very strange because I think they should be swapped. So they have nothing to do with those because lambda, stylized, delta, unique, went like this triangle, stylized, D. Damn. Also, there's many languages adapted the sigma to just become C, even though it should be like this or this, and the stigma, it's like a mix of them. It used to be a thing, not anymore. It's like the Sampi. Sampi had no use, so they didn't really have it. They didn't use it very much. And there's like 3 different S things in Phoenician, so that's probably why they're different. However, stigma is just a weird looking sigma. But Sampi was just unneeded, you know. I don't understand how this is eh and this is yo. Anyways. I'm gonna put a list of things. So we've got weird looking X, J, and then there's something I don't understand. It's based off Greek. So if you know Greek, you'd think this is E. It's N. However, put it the other way, kind of like Phoenician. You do that, and then that is E. I guess they just, um, kind of just simplified it, I guess, is what they did. And, there is a very strange thing. They simplify a lot of things to look Latin, even though they aren't. Here's the A. You don't write it like this. This is correct A, however. I don't like it either. But they do that instead of this. In fact, fancy fonts have this, but shaded. Instead of, like... No. That's wrong. Like that. That's fancy alpha. They don't do that. I don't know why. And this looks like an iodified O, and it's U or U, so it's pretty much an iodified O, except nothing about it says iodified in its name, even though the other things like that were called iodified. And it's very strange. And then that's even though in Greek it was ch, which I don't really understand. This is how they say R. That was terrible. Here's R. It's like the computer way of writing a P. You got a little stem at the top. The circle was separate. However, the Greeks didn't have that stem. It was continuous. One line. They make these things look Latin, even though they're not the same things. And I don't know why. They even made this look Latin. That's not even anywhere close to a letter that we have. But still, it's there. And they use it for a lot of things. Let me just write a list. What it is now is that this is now an apostrophe. This is B. This is like a hyphen. This is Y. I don't know why they use the symbol so much. This is not two symbols. This is somehow one. Like how in Spanish, you put C and H, that's one letter. Two double L's, that's one letter. Double N, that's one letter. In fact, they took it a bit literally. Made it one letter. Anyways, I'm pretty sure the Z is probably glagolitic. It's possible that they stylized this one, but I have doubts from what I saw before with the shocking glagolitic translations. It's this. It could have been got simplified too, but I don't know where the middle thing goes. Yeah, this was very not the best. However, very weird thing I see is that here's something. I don't know if it means anything just yet. Hold on. No, it means nothing. It's a backwards for. Sorry. No, it's actually nothing. It's not even looking like another letter. It's just this. But you add another letter to it, and you add the N afterwards, which looks like an H. It's very strange because that letter is actually this. And yet this. Add O is on. Why is it like that? No clue. Over the thing I said about about the sh in Glagolitic. It was probably based off Greek, like the other things, like the theta-looking one, the phi-looking one. Not sure if there's actually other ones. I mean, the Omicron just looks like an O with two other O's in it. It's very uneventful. I don't know how this is 20 minutes. I'm tired.